How's it going, everybody? Doing a request here today. Eating macaroni and cheese. I got one of those microwavable big bowls. You'll see it in the screenshot for the vid, and just some rambling. This video, I'm filming this on Tuesday. I'm putting it up Thursday, so I might talk about something in here that other things might have happened by the time the video goes up. Closing that window there, just in case. Got some brisk iced tea here. I was gonna kind of just ramble. Game 5 was last night of the Islander Lightning series, and if anybody pays attention to hockey, you'll know the turnout of that game. It was 8-0. The Lightning won. I don't know how the rest of the series is gonna go. That's why I'm saying by the time this video goes up, the Islanders could be eliminated, or they could be going to Game 7. I could see it going to Game 7, them winning at the Coliseum, but man, I mean, you know what? Them losing that game wouldn't be a shock, right? It's the Lightning, defending champs, probably the best team in the league, whatever. But it's so... This is the problem. If you're an Islanders fan and you weren't old enough to be, because when the Islanders won their 4 in a row and went to 5 in a row Stanley Cups, I was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, I turned 1 at the first one, 79, 80, 80, 81, 81, 82, 82, 83. I was alive. I didn't know what hockey was. Alright? But if you were old enough to appreciate and be around for those cups, it's not the same, although you've seen both sides of this franchise. But it's so frustrating because everybody knows, if you're a fan of hockey, the Islanders, since that conference finals berth in 92-93, haven't had barely any success until they got Trotz, right? They've had 2 conference finals, or they call it semifinals this year. Berths in a row. They did the second round a few years prior. But it's still, the Islanders would always find ways to fuck things up. The arena situation, not attracting free agents, blowing leads. I know all teams blow leads, blowing bad leads, letting up goals off the goalie's back. I think that was Brett Hull might have did that, or it was the Blues. Dude whipped the shot, it hit the glass behind the goalie, it bounced off and hit the goalie's back and went in. That kind of stuff, though. So, as an Islander fan, like, it's 2-2, I'm pumped, right? 2-2 series, but part of me's like, I can't wrap my head around them making it to the Cup Finals, because you have all of that culture of losing, and that's like somebody's name, an Islander fan's name, and it's so perfect, because the Islanders had that culture of losing. They couldn't win. They wouldn't get the players. When they had decent players, they would still fuck up. And of course, they lose 8-0 in the most important game in the franchise, for the franchise, since probably 83-84, the 83-84 season. tries to block a pass, it goes into the net. They're getting housed. Barcel's taking a dumb shit penalty. And all teams do this, but for Islanders fans and certain franchises fans, it's weird because the Islanders have the franchise of being a dynasty and being complete shit for a long period of time. It's gross. Like losing to the Lightning in Tampa in Game 5 is whatever people would expect it, right? Most everybody would. But to pretty much not show up and just get completely and utterly dominated and destroyed is so Islanders. Like, that's why a lot of Islander fans you can't wrap your head around it. You can't envision them making the Cup Finals because they fucking do shit like that, Because if they lose 4-2, you're like, okay. I mean, a loss is a loss, right? 8-0, 4-2, 1-0. But you're like, do they bounce back in 6? Who the hell knows, right? They win 6 and 7. It's the fact that it's the most important game in so long, and they shit the bed that hard. Like, come on. So disappointing. But I can see them winning Game 6. I don't think they get destroyed again. Maybe in Game 7 if it goes that far, but I don't know. That's why as a fan of certain franchises, and it's worse with other franchises that don't have actual success at some point. It figures. And the quick goal, in the first 45 seconds or whatever it was, and the defenseman trying to block a pass and it going in is so typical. Last bit of it. And now I'll ramble for a few minutes. It's just, whatever. That is what it is. I actually got a new game today from Amazon. I bought it off Amazon the other day for $10. It was on sale. It wasn't part of the Prime deal. It was just on sale. I think Amazon will match Best Buy sales and stuff like that, Target or whatever, most of the time. Whatever they're having. It's a game I wanted. It's on Game Pass, but I wasn't going to get around to playing in the next 2 months or whatever, how long I have Game Pass for. But it's one I wanted. So I'll bring that up in another pickups video. Whenever my next one ends up being, I don't know. But yeah. I mean, I guess it's, the person actually, the request originally was a sports ramble. Then they mentioned some other vids, so you know what, it's been a bit of sports ramble and eating mac and cheese. The NBA conference finals are set, right? It's Phoenix up 1-0 right now on the Clippers. And the Bucks are playing the Hawks. The Hawks are the surprising team. But we'll see what happens. There's some fresh teams at least. Not the usual LeBron-led team, because he's done it with the Lakers and the Heat and the Cavs. Dallas and the Raptors popped in late, but it's been all Warriors or Cavs or whoever the hell LeBron's playing for. So it's nice to see some fresh teams. That's what I like about hockey. Playoffs, you never know what's going to happen, you know. An eighth seed or a 7th seed will upset early seeds almost every year. I mean, it's a little different now because, I mean, it still happens, but they do it back how they used to do it with the divisions. So the divisions play each other in the playoffs first, unless your 5 teams can make it playoffs. It's not 4 and 4 every time. This year it was because of the COVID shit, but you know, they could do 5 and 1 and 3 and another sometimes in divisions. So you don't get like back in the day, it used to be, you know, even when the Islanders played the Canadiens in 1993, it was still the Islanders in the Patrick division, I think, right? They have 4 divisions or whatever, and the 4 teams would make it from each one, and then they play each other. Similar to this year, they play each other. It still happens like that now, but not all the time, because you can get 5 teams in a division and 3 in the other. But you know, even when it was just lined up 1 through 8, you know, it didn't go by division. You could have, you know, 5 teams, 3, 4, 6, 2, I guess. It usually would still be like no more than 5-3, but it would always be different. Like, you know, you'd be playing teams from different divisions in the first round all the time, and you'd always see like Red Wings would lose as a 1 seed. I think they lost to the Oilers when the Oilers played the Hurricanes in 06-07. The Capitals lost to the Canadiens, I'm pretty sure, when they were a 1 seed. The Lightning did it a few years ago, actually, before the weirdness, we'll just call it that. They lost that, right? Columbus. I don't know if the Lightning were a 1 seed that year or not, or 2, but they would be considered because we're still doing the division thing at this point. Again. But it happens all the time. Like, teams get upset all the time in hockey. Like, you get a hot goalie, players playing, whatever. Basketball, you don't get those upsets as much. They happen, but it's few and far between. I remember the Nuggets did it well back in the day in the 90s against the Supersonics when they were the 8. And I think that was the first time an 8 beat a 1 seed. So, it's just more in it. And it's different because in basketball, playoffs in basketball can be awesome. But the problem is, it doesn't heat up until like late 3rd, 4th quarter. Like the 4th quarter is what you're looking for in a tight game. That's what you want to see. First half might not matter. If it's a tight game, okay, but you're not into it. Like, it starts to heat up in the second half, and especially like the tail end of